Hi and welcome to Quirky Books with Katie. Today I'm going to be doing a different type of video which I'm going to be calling my reading story. So I've seen a few videos kind of floating around like this here or there, but I wanted to do something kind of talking about kind of how I got into reading and like what kind of books I've read and like that type and like kind of my history with reading. This isn't necessarily going to be why I love reading and why I read. If you guys want to see that, then let me know. But this is going to kind of be my reading story. So I have been into reading for pretty much my whole life. In kindergarten, I remember I actually had a hard time reading in kindergarten. I remember going for like reading help because I didn't want to read. But once I read, I was hooked. I remember reading all throughout elementary school, kind of like off and on. I wasn't an avid reader, but I still read more than most kids. Some of my favorites were the Junie B. Jones books and the Magic Treehouse series. You guys remember what I'm talking about. Those were some of my favorites. And I remember my school had these things called Scholastic book orders, and they were kind of like these book catalogs that you would get, I think, once a month. I remember I'd bring them home, and I'd make my parents buy me literally all these books. I remember I would always get the most out of anyone in my class, and, like, literally there'd be a huge box there, and all my teachers would be like, those are for Katie. And I also remember this thing at my school called Read On, which I think it was, like, 1 month a year, and basically each class had to kind of compete to see who could read the most, and you'd fill out like your books, the books that you read on like bookmarks, and the class that read the most got like a pizza party. My class always won, and all the kids were just like, it's 'cause me. But now I'm not trying to brag. I loved reading ever since I was younger. It was just always something that I kind of enjoyed doing. Now, I've kind of throughout my life, I've gone through periods where I read a lot and then I don't read as much. It's usually like every few years I'll kind of shake it up. But when I was in, I'd say like 6th and 7th grade was when I started getting into reading again. And the reason why I got back into reading, I think at the beginning of middle school, was definitely because there were a few book series that me and all of my friends would read, and we would literally like obsess about whenever the next one came out. And whoever would get it first would be the lucky one, because then they could hold it over each other's heads like, oh, I read this before you. And we'd all try to kind of like steal them from each other. I have a few of them here. The first one is The Mysterious Benedict Society by Trent Lee Stewart. This is such an amazing book and series. I think I've had this since like 4th grade. This is even a signed copy. I think I got it at my library a while ago. And it was just, there's something about this book that was so good. I remember my friend, actually, I remember like even sitting in her car. I think this was when I was about 10, and she was like, Katie, you have to read this book. Put it off for a while, and then I loved it. Other examples are probably like the Click series by Lizzie Harrison. We thought we were so cool for reading those. And the Sisters Grimm series as well was another favorite. And then also in middle school, I remember my library would always have this summer reading program where if you read, you'd get like prizes and stuff. And I did that. Oh my God, how many years did I do that? I think this year was the first year that I haven't done it since I was in like kindergarten, or even before kindergarten, which is kind of sad. But it was just always something fun to do. And before I had like the BookTube community, that was kind of how I shared my love of books with other people. I kind of did the summer reading program. And now we're still in middle school. Sorry, I didn't really plan this that well. But I actually, when I was in 6th grade, like I said before, I was really involved with my library. The children's librarian was literally one of the people that inspired me to read so much. Her name was Miss Karen, and I still talk to her every once in a while. And she always shared her love of reading, and she inspired me so much. And when I was in 6th grade, I joined this storytelling group that she headed, and I forget what it was called, but I was the youngest one there. I was the baby, and everyone else was in high school. We just like tell stories for fun. We do like different events and stuff and talk about books, and that was so much fun. I think it was a storytelling group for I think 3 years, and that kept my love of reading and storytelling, and I think it's because of that I don't mind talking in public. It kind of trained me to be able to do that, and that was so much fun. Now, when I was in ninth grade, when I started high school, I didn't really read as much. I had other stuff to do. That was the period of my life when I was obsessed with baseball, so that's what my life revolved around. I kind of just didn't read as much. And then the summer before I went into 10th grade, which was like not last summer, the summer before that, I discovered the beauty community on YouTube. And through that, I kind of a couple months later, I discovered the booktube community. And at first, I followed a few people. I think the first people I followed were Cass J. Tuck, Pullin' Bananas Books. I really liked both of them. I followed them for a long time. But I'd say the thing that really got me back into reading obsessively would have to be Goodreads. I don't even know how I found Goodreads. I was on the last on the bandwagon. This was last November, I'd say. I don't know what I was looking for, but I found Goodreads, and it was literally like I found my Mecca. I was just like, oh, this is perfection. And I remember literally I would sit on Goodreads for hours and just find crap. I don't even know how I would find books on there, but it was kind of insane. I had a problem. Still do have a problem with Goodreads. Combination of Goodreads and the booktube community really sparked my love of reading again. I remember the first book that I read in that time was The Host, and then after that I remember I would always be reading. Since last November, I don't think there's been a period of a week where I have not been constantly just reading something. And then last December, on Christmas, I made my first YouTube video, and it was really bad. It was a review of the book called Unearthly. You guys can go watch it if you want. I've seen it a couple times, and I just laugh because I'm monotone and I don't know what I'm doing. And making a YouTube channel was such a good idea on my part. I absolutely love doing this. It's so much fun, and it's kind of a different thing. I have all my YouTube friends and stuff, and it's people that I can actually talk about books with. Now, in my school, I know some people that talk about that I can talk books with. It's not that many, but on this community, it's everyone has a shared interest of loving books, and it's just so much fun to be able to I'll read a book and then I'll look up and I'll see oh, my friend read this or my other friend read that, and we can discuss it, and it's awesome. Truthfully, I am so thankful that I really got into reading again. Last year was a really hard year for me. I just really hated school last year. It was really bad. And reading kind of just helped me so much because I felt like I could escape into a different world and I could just have fun with that, and I could kind of ignore the fact that I did not like school. And it was just, reading has become such an escape and something that I love doing so much, and it's become such a big part of my life. If you talked to me probably 3 years ago and said that I'd be the obsessive book girl, I probably wouldn't have believed it. And that is my reading story, and I still read a lot. I haven't been able to read as much this year because I am really busy with school. I take some high-level classes. I just made the debate team, which means I have even less time to read. But I'm still going to be making YouTube videos for you guys because I love doing this. So let me know down below how you guys got into reading, or kind of your reading story if you want. Or you can do a video response, but I don't think people do video responses anymore anyway. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you again soon.